Last of Us 2 comes out, and right, this is a really popular game. And suddenly, so we're back in the world, and the young girl, Ellie, has grown up, and now she's a lesbian because I don't know.
What do you, okay, God damn it. Everybody on the left is so crazy, but then the people on the right are so crazy too, because it's just like, you can see like how, I'm gonna use the word heteronormative he is, right? So she's grown up and become a lesbian. How do you know that? How do you know she wasn't always a lesbian? Like, what made you think in the first game that she was straight? Like, the assumption is just like, well, everybody's straight, obviously, you need a reason to be gay, right? Like, what do you mean she grew up and became a lesbian?
I don't know why, but suddenly she's a lesbian.
Why do you need a reason to be a lesbian?
Yeah. And her friend, Joel, from the original, this guy who's now older, he's an older guy, and he's clearly got very tender feelings, tender fatherly feelings towards this girl. And I should say, by the way, that the art and the voice acting in the game are terrific. They really are. It's a little slow. They take a little bit too much time with it, but still, it's really good voice acting and really good art. Joel is being hunted by Abby, who is for at least she looks like a transgender woman, okay? So she looks like a guy.
What he means is she has muscles, so.
Who either has had an operation or something, or.
What operate? Does she have a dick? What do you mean an operation? What?
A woman who thinks she's man. You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell. And we have to play her at times, and she's just a vicious, vengeance-bent person in a game where every male gets destroyed or humiliated. And Joel, this guy we've really learned to be with and to love and to kind of follow his role, follow his journey into fatherhood, into rediscovering what it means to be a man. Now we've got to play her as she hunts, or him, or whoever, whatever she is, as she hunts him down. And we even get the joy of a graphic sex scene, which you just can't tell if it's a guy sodomizing a guy who thinks he's a girl or what it is.
Listen, okay, conservatives can talk about fiscal responsibility, whatever they want to do. Please, please, okay? We watch Ben Shapiro come to this dude. Just don't talk about anything related to art or entertainment, because, like, Jesus Christ, you guys you aren't built for it, okay?
I have the musical case against rap, and then I'll get to the cultural case. Okay.
If you are a conservative, go talk about, like, budgets or something, because you don't have the brain. Oh my God. You don't have the brain for it. Do you know what this is, guys? It's the Kubrick stare.
You can't tell.
Abby.
Why are these all stuck together?
I like how they cut it off when she turns around. I think her turning around is probably a pretty big indication that she doesn't have a dick. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but for a conservative, I mean, like, isn't that enough? Or maybe conservatives don't know that you can, like, fuck a vagina from behind. Maybe he thinks her turning around means 100% she has a dick, and that's why she turns around. Because, maybe?
So, an employee at IGN, one of the big game websites, said anybody who doesn't like this scene is a virgin. Now, let me tell you something. I'm 65.
Lucy, wait, why would you tweet this? Remember, when folks are upset at a sex scene in a piece of media because it's not made for their titillation, it's because they are a virgin and will sadly always be a virgin. Why would you tweet this? What is wrong with you? Actually, this sounds like something I would tweet, so I guess I can't be too upset.
5 years old. I had more sex last week than all the employees at IGN put together in the last year, okay? My one response to this is this. My eyes! My eyes! My eyes! Ah! I don't care. I don't care what people are. I don't want to watch it. I don't want it forced down into my consciousness. I don't want them preaching to me while I'm trying to play a video game. And it's absurd. And by the way, a lot of people feel like this. You know, the critics give this game a 94%, which is no way. The people give it a 4.8 out of 100.
So just most of the reviews that I've ever seen about this game, this is just my opinion, sorry, or not my opinion, it's just what I've seen, so maybe I'm wrong. Most of the people that have played it seem to have said that, like, the game is really, really, really well done. And that, like, is almost the ubiquitous, like, reviewer opinion that I've seen on it.
That's what the people think about this.
This is awkward.
We're supposed to be all so shocked and all. We don't care. We don't care. most of us are straight people who just want to have kids and go on and have our family lives. We don't care what you're doing, but we don't need to know. We don't need to have this forced on us as telling us basically that we're immoral if we don't want to play this game. It's offensive. It is offensive.
Who's saying that though? Now, see, this is the problem. 2017 Destiny would say like, who's saying that you're like immoral just so you don't want to play this particular game? Like, if you don't want to watch it, that's fine. You don't have to watch like fucking lesbian softcore porn if you don't care. But now 2021 Destiny realizes there probably are some people out there that are saying like, if you like to play The Witcher and not The Last of Us 2, it's because you have internalized homophobia, you know? So maybe there are people out there saying that. Who the fuck knows?
To do that, right? It is offensive to push it on. Plus, it makes no sense. All the tolerance that we have for every little minor twist in human consciousness, all the tolerance we have, is because we are a powerful, rich nation surrounded by an army that will protect us. We can afford to screw around with all the social justice we want. We think that we can experiment with all the tolerance, all the social justice. Let everybody come in. Let everybody come into the country. There should be no borders. I'm such a good person. That is all because we're rich and powerful and protected by a massive, massive military force. Once there's a zombie pandemic, once the
zombies come, the gays go, okay? No LGBTQIA++ in the zombie world, okay? Those people disappear, apparently. You need, like, if you ever play like a 4X game, you all know that the LGBT tag on your colony doesn't appear until your military reaches at least level 27, right?
Post-apocalyptic world, all those bets are off. Strong men rule. Men with guns rule over men without guns. Women will have to produce children. That's what they will be there.
It's such a weird take because it's such an, I'm gonna use the word abiological take to even say this, like, the strongest will survive. It'll be the strong men, blah, blah, blah. What, you think we're fucking lions? Dog, we are a social species. Like, the way that we work is by working together. Like, some of our greatest assets, arguably, one of the top 2 greatest assets we have is our capacity for communication. Like, it's something that gives us an advantage over like so many other species, that we can communicate things in like a time and a place that isn't immediately here temporally or spatially. Like, I can tell you something that's going to happen in another spot about a thing you might not even have seen. Like, these are like, evolutionarily speaking, these are like our massive fucking advantages. It's not being fucking strong. Like, strength is such a compromise because of the increase in calories you need to maintain it, that humans like specifically have the ability to be weak. Like, it's a huge advantage that we have. Like, if you look at like apes are like perpetually fucking shredded. I think an orangutan can pull like 600 fucking pounds or whatever. And humans just aren't built that way at all, because why carry the extra muscle if you're not actively using it? It's such a, people, and it's wrong on so many levels. Like, not only is it wrong biologically, it's also wrong historically, because historically, like, generally the people that survive the most and the people that do the best are usually the people that are incorporating more and more different types of people. Like, the height of the Roman Empire, even if they didn't have fully equal representation in like the Roman fucking, it's not parliament, I don't remember what they call it or whatever. Like, Rome had like a ton of different types of people living under the same kingdom for a long fucking time. Like, biologically it's wrong, historically it's wrong, psychologically it's wrong, even religiously it's wrong. Like, if you look at like the examples set forth by like Jesus and shit, I'm pretty sure that most of those leaders, well, not Jesus, I shouldn't say, because Jesus is never like a leader, but like Jesus at the very least was like a pretty compassionate person. He didn't lead with like crazy fucking strength and power. I don't know as many Old Testament examples, but like, wasn't King David, I don't think he was renowned for being strong. I thought it was for being wise. King David was the one with the story where the woman brought the illegitimate child to them, and they said to split the child down the middle and give it to, oh, am I thinking of Solomon? I don't remember. Was it Solomon? Yeah, where like usually, but we just didn't study the Old Testament as much. But like, I don't remember very many Old Testament stories where you wind up with these like super ripped and super shredded like leaders, and like that's why he's known for. He's known for being strong. It's usually like what you're rewarded for is like your faith in God and your wisdom and everything. And like, yeah, I don't, yeah, or like, or David and Goliath. That's something that like most people remember. Yeah, it's like, it's such a. The saddest thing about all of this too, that like truly makes this sad and pathetic, and and I hate the left for it too, is that like we don't really get these positive examples of like because we hear from the left all the time, toxic masculinity. Well, what are some examples of like positive masculinity? Because this guy doesn't understand it, right? Like what does it mean to set a good example like as a man, right? It doesn't just mean to like be strong and beat people up and kill people and make women like your like baby producers, right? Like that, like there's got to be more to it than that. You have to have something else that lets you identify, because no offense, like you're not very strong. Like I've seen you in person. We debated on a JLP battle. Like everybody can see what you look like. You're not like a shredded ripped dude. Like in your world where strong men lead, like you're like the bitch in the back that's not even allowed to have kids.
I mean, I don't understand why blacks, especially when Democrats talk about, are always talking about criminals. I don't get that. That's not the majority of black people.
George Floyd might have been a criminal, but that doesn't mean he deserves to be executed on the ground by cops.
Yes, but it doesn't mean he doesn't mean he deserves to be geographied.
Like, when you're an activist, you're trying
executed.
He was executed. He was executed. You mess up, you don't deserve to be killed by the cops.
Said that,
but that's why BLM started, because it seems like people like you, it seems like people like you will come out and say, well, he was no angel, so maybe the cops should have killed him. But you're asking, like, why are they holding him up? Because it's a person that shouldn't have been killed by a cop without due process. Like, what's wrong with you? You know, like, it's just, this take is just so stupid on so many different levels. It's like, fuck.
Is wisdom not a strength?
Therefore, there'll be a lot less tolerance of this sort of thing. Our tolerance is a luxury, and I'm all for it. I'm all for being tolerant, but don't tell me in a post-apocalyptic world surrounded by zombies, we're going to be the same decadent, non-caring, virtue-signaling clowns we are.
The funny thing is that the game, without him even super realizing it, the game actually kind of a little bit agrees with him. That's one of the reasons why like most of the women characters are so like super shredded and really ripped, right? Like, oh well, you know, in the future world, blah blah blah, where it's post-apocalyptic, you're not gonna have the luxury. It's like, yeah, of course she wouldn't have any luxury. That's why she's incredibly fucking strong. That's why she's shredded, because if she wasn't, she'd be getting raped and murdered by the type of men that you're celebrating, right? Like, so I mean, like even in some ways, like if you wanted to go that route, like even in some ways you could argue, okay, well fine, well maybe the game even kind of agrees with you because of the example of like who she is in this world, you know? Like,
are in a situation where we are wealthy and protected and at peace. And just one more thing I got to say about this, because it's so offensive to me to be preached to about something I don't care about at all. I mean, I truly do not care what people are doing in their private lives.
Really?
But it's offensive for them to tell me that a game that I really enjoyed, or a game that most people really enjoyed because of its values, now has to be twisted and sell their values to me instead of the values that I actually went to the game for in the first place. Why does everything have to be transformed into this garbage? That's what I want to know, especially illogically. And one of the most offensive scenes in this, it is genuinely offensive that we have to play this vengeance-hungry Abby who's out to get the guy that we thought of as the hero. He was our character in the first game, this guy Joel. And then I don't want to play
and he misses so much of the whole point of this game and the last game. Like, he keeps using the words, these vengeance-hungry Abby, this vengeance-hungry, and I'm pretty sure, spoiler alert, this is kind of what The Last of Us is trying to get, right? There's a reason why people fucking hate Joel. Like, I wonder if he knows why they're so hell-bent on killing him. Because, by the way, if you discover the answer to that, it's not because Joel is a holistic, awesome character that is, like, so nice and kind and blah, blah, blah. It's because Joel murdered, like, fucking 7,000 fucking people trying to save this one little girl whose brain maybe potentially, you know, held the cure to the fucking zombie shit in the world. It's the reason why Ellie is so fucking mad at him in the second game. Like, no, I'm not saying that Joel deserved it. Well, I don't know. It's hard. It's messy, right? But that's like kind of the whole fucking point of the game. Is that like revenge and all of that is like super messy and fucked.
a lot of this. I just want to play a little bit of this death scene because they don't just kill him, they torture him to death. And the person who's doing it is a character that we are forced to play.
You stupid old man. You don't get to rush this.
You don't even see the scene. You don't even like see all of this. Like literally they're showing everything. They haven't cut away from anything.
You're done.
You want what I want, right?
End it. Now.
Joel.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Joel, f***ing get up. Please stop. Please don't do this. Joel, please get up.
They try to convince us that this transgender person is somebody we should somehow like and forgive. They make you kill a dog, which a lot of people are really upset about. You know, it's garbage. It is garbage. I do not understand the disconnect that has taken place between entertainers, including sports people, movie people, television people, entertainers, and the people they are supposed to entertain is an amazing phenomenon that we will call, in the later years, we will call, remember when they got woke and went broke. Because I don't think this game is going to do very well, and they can sit and rant and rage about it all they want. It doesn't matter. It's our values that we have, not their values. We don't need them to preach to us. They're game makers. Just make a good game and let us see our values in play, and then maybe we'll give you some of our money if you're very polite. That's what I have to say about The Last of Us. I hope we've seen The Last of Us.
Just, holy Christ. Just, if you're conservative, just don't talk about art ever, okay? Like, that's just, for all of us, just stop, okay? Leave the art to the, not even to the libcugs, because they suck too. I don't know, just let us, I just want to play video games, okay? Fuck! Literally the best-selling PlayStation exclusive ever. It's just, it's so mind-blowing to me that you can miss so much. No, it's not actually, it's conservatism. Why would I be mind-blown? Whatever. I want to know why none of those conservatives are making games. If they're so upset, the free market should just buy their own shit. Yeah. Nah, conservatives finally abandoned that. Now, was it because of large corporations with like way too much buying power for labor? Nope. Was it because, you know, some corporations, you know, might be engaged in bad practices, you know, across the oceans and blah, blah. Nope. You know, was it because of, like, no. It was because they started getting banned on Twitter and Facebook. Now conservatives have realized, okay, hold on. Some of these private companies are a little bit too powerful, all right? Something needs to be done, okay? When Diamond and Silk are losing their Facebook accounts, we got big problems.
Games were better back when Samus had less clothing the faster you completed the game, boomer.
Jeez. How subjective is art? Okay, art is not subjective, okay? But your enjoyment of a particular piece of art can be subjective. Or I guess we can argue pieces of art are subjective, but 9 times out of 10, when somebody utters the phrase art is subjective, they're usually being stupid with it, right? Like, we can make factual, descriptively accurate statements about art, right? Like, a piano solo contains less instrumentation than like an entire, you know, wind ensemble. That's like an objective statement about art. There's nothing subjective about that. Now, one individual's enjoyment of art can be, or is probably, I think almost certainly, well, I would say it's probably subjective. What do you think most Republicans think Fight Club is about? You know what would be a funny show is you should get like Republicans and Democrats together in the same room and have them argue over like fucking movies or books to see which one is really about, was this about Republican values or Democrat values? Because I'm not gonna lie, nothing is funnier to me than like Republicans, like, because people, like a Republican will read like 1984 and be like, Orwell was talking about the gays. That's what he meant when he said that, like, we're gonna live under regimes that manipulate what truth is and blah, blah, blah. You know, like, that shit is fucking funny to me. Like, Jesus Christ. Or, Martin Luther King would have actually been a Republican, by the way. That's another good one, too. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.
The game shows weights in Abby's room and a gym at her base BTW.
Were they, what kind of weights were they though? Were they trans weights?